Hello, everybody, and welcome to McRADcast Reviews. Today, me and Josh are going to talk a little bit about Altered Carbon, which is a Netflix series. Season 1, it has one season out, and a second season coming very soon. So we wanted to sit down today and just do a little overview of that, and then we're going to do after that, we're going to kind of revisit it after we watch Season 2 in a week or two, and kind of give a full overview of it with both seasons involved. So, yep, and we're still kind of evolving this whole series. So we noticed last time we did a review, and if you've heard it by now, that we don't really stick to just the show. The main theme is the show we pick, but we kind of go off the rails a little bit. But that's just how we do it. So we'll talk about other stuff that we think is cool, and yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm excited about the review part, but we don't know how successful it will or will not be. This is kind of our little foray to be able to talk to each other, and because this was my idea, because I always enjoy talking with you about things like this, and now that we have recording equipment, we might as well just record all of our conversations and see if people like them.
Yep, and if they suck, then maybe we'll stop. I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, Altered Carbon, Season 1. Now, I have seen the entire thing, but it's been probably about a year.
Yeah.
And I'm revisiting it now, but I did not get to finish Season 1 over again, but I do know the overall gist. But we're not going to give any spoilers in this episode. And for future reviews, if we ever give spoilers, we will give a spoiler alert to let people know if they want to pause or cut off until they've watched
generally we're going to do an overall. This is what we felt about the show. This is where its strengths and weaknesses are. No dumb rating system or anything like that. Yep. It's just kind of our opinion, our feel on the deal. And then eventually what we'll do is probably on some of the more interesting shows go into a more actual in-depth review about what we thought went wrong or what was right, that sort of thing.
Sure. But yeah, Altered Carbon, it is. So just to give you a kind of a brief little synopsis is... It's sci-fi for sure.
Oh, super sci-fi.
But I wouldn't, if you're not a sci-fi fan, I wouldn't let that deter you, because it is
it's not Star Wars.
Yeah. No, it's a really great story, but it's a dystopian, futuristic sci-fi series.
Yeah, it's more Blade Runner, less Star Wars.
It's very in the style of Philip K. Dick and people and authors like that. And I think that Altered Carbon was a book maybe or a series. I want to say Ashley Wheat turned me on to, and I have not read it if it is, and I might be wrong about that, but I think it is a series or at least one book.
Probably. Most of your really, really good stuff comes from literature, right? And so...
So basically it is a future where they have learned how to essentially upload your consciousness into a computer chip
effectively.
It's just a very layman's version of it. And you can essentially have that chip put into different bodies.
Yep. They call them vessels.
Yes. But it is or sleeves. Is that what they call them?
Sleeves. That's what it is, yeah.
But it is very much a rich person's kind of dystopia, utopia.
Yes, because poor
thing.
people can potentially get sleeves, but it's like everything you have to get the new sleeve, the new body. Yep. And it's weird because they don't make sleeves. They're just old dead people that couldn't afford to get put in another. It's like a weird situation.
So basically they remove that person's chip, which is called a stack.
Yeah.
They call the computer chip or whatever you want to call it.
If someone destroys your stack, you're gone forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the base of it. And it starts with a scene basically of the main character, the protagonist, and
Takeshi Kovacs.
Yeah, Takeshi or Takashi?
Takeshi Kovacs.
Kovacs.
He's a Japanese fellow.
Yes, and it's him and his lady or a lady. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to break down the scene fully, but basically you get the gist that this guy's a total badass.
Yep.
And there's people that don't like him, and they're coming after him.
Yep.
And it's kind of this. It very much in the vein of that dystopian thing of like the kind of militarized police force.
Yeah, they've got the crazy helmets and the crazy armor and equipment and everything.
And they come to get him, basically. And so the way it works is they kind of take him out, but the way the kind of the world works is if you get arrested for a crime or if you get taken out, if your body gets taken out and you're a criminal, they essentially just take your stack and they put you in a prison.
They put you on ice, basically, yeah.
So you could essentially be serving a prison sentence of 200, 300.
Which is insane to me because the whole point of being in prison is to experience prison.
Right.
So you don't want to do it no more.
Right.
But you don't actually experience prison if you're asleep the whole time.
Yeah. And I always kind of wonder I don't know if they touch on this, I missed it. Is there any kind of awareness while you're under?
Not when he wakes up for the first time in his new sleeve, he asks how long it's been.
That's right. Yeah. So basically what they'll do is they'll put people under, they'll keep their stack on ice essentially. That sounds like a rap song.
Hell yeah.
Stacks on ice. I don't know.
Stacks on ice, y'all.
So and then when they bring your stack, when you put you in a new body, they'll do your trial basically, and then they'll say this is your sentence or whatever it is.
Yep.
So that's kind of the little opening bit, and then it starts to unfold. And I'm not going to get into crazy detail here because, man, every episode of the show,
it all matters.
Yes, you can't watch this and be perusing Facebook on your phone.
Yeah, there are only a few shows now because let's be honest, almost everyone streams and almost everyone is on their phone while streaming. Yeah. So everybody's halfway paying attention to media now. And there are several shows where you cannot do that or you will not get it.
Yeah, and this is definitely a show like that.
You have to pay attention
almost
to
every scene. I'm not going to say every scene is just crazy significant, but there's some detail, there's some part of the story is unfolding.
When I went to rewatch it, I watched episodes 1 through 6 very quickly, and then thought we were going to do this podcast a few days ago. And so I was like, better skip to the end. And so I skipped episodes 7 and 8 and just watched 9 and 10, and boy, was I lost.
Yeah, just 2 episodes, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it was, just significant amounts of information in those 2.
What I really like about the thing, and also just to make you kind of give you a better feel for this is when you get a new body or a new sleeve, they call it, in this world, it's kind of, unless you're just an uber rich person who can pick the thing you want, or
you get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit. It's like damn kindergarten.
So there was literally like a 6-year-old in a 40-year-old body, and there was vice versa,
a grandma in a fucking white supremacist body.
Yeah, it was
a Latino grandma in a white supremacist body.
So it gets really weird.
And I honestly think the actor that played that white supremacist is one of the greatest actors of our time. After seeing his performance as basically a white supremacist gang member,
we're talking about the bearded guy, right?
Yeah.
You know who I thought that was at first glance?
Who?
Tom Segura.
Oh,
I seriously did, because I was like, I barely glanced at it. And I was like, because he speaks Spanish, and I was like, is that Segura? And then I was like, no.
It would be hilarious.
Very quickly, I was like,
he's a little too fit to be Segura, right?
But it was like a very brief. I was like, what?
And then it was. But the range on that actor is one, because he plays a Latino grandmother brilliantly. He nails it, and it the fact that he had that range, and that's not because you believe that he is the grandma.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's you don't even think twice that he might not be that grandma, that he's just an actor. You believe it. And that's in my opinion, that's the mark of a great actor, is to be able to convince people that you are the thing you're playing as.
Right.
And I thought he just absolutely destroyed that role.
Yeah, it was really good.
Because they wake him up 3 different times. He is the person he was to begin with. He gets laid down. They put somebody else in the body, which is the grandma. And then after she's done doing what she does, they put another person in the body, a Russian, and so he plays all 3 characters. And it's such a small dude. He basically is an insignificant character, but he plays 3 different characters throughout the show, and you're like, whoa! Yeah. If you think about it from a macro perspective, it's brilliant.
It's really good, yeah. But they did a lot of really cool things in the show, and like you said, it is very sci-fi, but it's not. At the same time, it's kind of not. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind of a whodunit rather than you know what I mean?
But it's also not a laser gun. No. All that stuff. It's
they all they're real guns, and it's a very, very harsh sci-fi. But there
is a lot of futuristic things going on,
flying cars, and
right. But so basically, and then when they bring this guy Kovac back, the main character, when they bring him out, and essentially he's thinking he's about to go on trial, but what has happened is a very, very, very rich person has essentially bought him, and put him in his employ, basically. So he has to go meet with this crazy rich guy who lives up in these like super high towers in the sky and pretty much away from society because they're above it all.
Yep.
You know, and they portray
literally above it all.
Well, but that's the whole thing. It's like we're above this, and they literally are above it. But so then you kind of find out what happens is. And I don't want to give too much of this part away because there's like a key thing in this that's kind of a spoiler, and I didn't want to do that. But basically, I'm going to say someone tries to kill that guy, and he wants to find out who.
Yes.
And that's basically what I'll leave it at until we get into the second.
Yeah,
season.
a guy hires him to find out who killed him.
Yep.
And I mean, he's still alive, obviously.
Right, but I don't want to get into
the minutia is the show. The minutia of that. They literally just hire this guy was a special type of person before he died and got put on ice. Kovac.
Yeah, and we can talk about that. They talked about that really early.
Something called an envoy, and they were basically rebels, the most extreme trained rebels back in the day. When something, they only allude to it a few times in the show. You don't ever really know what the full war was about before he went down. But the thing about it is like he is very, very skilled in a lot of ways. And so that's why this dude elected to pull him off ice and make him a detective effectively in modern day.
Right. And so an envoy in this world, they kind of have, I wouldn't say they're psychic, but they have some very reminiscent powers of a clairvoyant or something. They kind of have these like little premonitions of
They're basically Sherlock Holmes. Like, he wasn't psychic, but he was so detail oriented that
he has those.
Picked
You
up
have
on
these little
everything.
flashes of like what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's seeing the future in the sense of like he
He's
knows
just
the outcome.
predicting the future, basically.
He kind of sees what someone's about to do, and he
where it's
can.
headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like he's a total badass. He's combat trained. He's just.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive to watch the dude work. And, the skill of everyone involved in this show, as far as acting is concerned, is a top notch.
Yes.
Because they all have to integrate, and when somebody changes bodies or, all of these things, it's very, very weird and impressive. There's another female in a male's body later in the show, and the way they produce that is wonderful. It's like not like anything you ever get anywhere else, right? It's not, you never get to see a man play a woman very often, and truly play a woman, not like an effeminate man. He literally has to play a woman, right in a man's body, and it's not like some weird ordeal. It's just literally a woman in a man's body, and so it produces these really interesting tropes that you never get to see anywhere else.
Yeah, the dynamic becomes really cool because you're like, sometimes you'll kind of forget. I'm like, oh yeah. Like it's the consciousness inside this body is not
it's
what you would think.
Yeah.
But they also play on that really well with, and once again, no spoilers, but there's moments in it where someone will know who that body used to belong to.
Yes.
And that this whole thing about the human psyche, how even though the consciousness is different, you still have this attachment to the person.
Yep. And it explores a lot of those weird things that you would run into if there was a different person in another person's body.
Right.
Right. And so they definitely hit that, and they don't shove it down your throat. It's just very quaint from time to time, which I think is another mark of a really, really well made show or movie, is that they're not trying to shove anything down your throat. They're just making a really cool thing, and they happen to hit on all those things that are interesting about the subject matter.
Yeah, and I think, and I keep coming back to this because, and the reason is because I've talked to people before that they just say things like, well, I just don't like sci-fi, and I don't like that, and I'm like, look, it kind of works the same way with Game of Thrones. Yep. Like the story, I know so many people that don't like
I don't like dragons and fantasy.
Yeah, medieval fantasy and things like that, but
there are some things that are beyond what they are.
The stories are so good that you go, I can dig this. And I think Altered Carbon fits into that.
Yes.
Now, it's still kind of action-oriented. It has those things. It's got really cool effects. There's definitely
It's definitely an adult show.
Oh yeah, there's the
nudity throughout.
Nudity, there's ultraviolence and not like a lot of gore, but there's definitely
some aggressive amount of blood in certain scenes and that sort of thing.
I mean, you got the rich guy's wife who comes out and she's
naked all the time.
I call her Nipples McGee.
Yeah, she is comfortable with her own nudity.
Yeah. And even when she's not nude, it's like nipples are ablazing, and you're like, okay. But they're portraying this whole thing of like she is the like very classic like rich lady.
Yeah, and on top of that, what would happen to a society if the uber rich could basically do whatever they wanted all the time and change bodies and there were no consequences, and the only way you die is if that stack dies?
Right.
Well, you probably become somewhat hedonistic, and you probably, you know what I mean?
And there's another level to the stack thing, but we're not gonna get into. Like, so we'll get into that in the next one. But it's a really layered thing.
We'll go into a bunch of spoilers on the next one. So if you're interested in our opinions on specific scenes and specific character interactions, that sort of thing, we're going to go into that because that's my favorite part of these conversations is the detail part.
Right.
But for just convenience sake, this is just our overarching feel, us encouraging you to please go watch it.
Yeah.
Because there aren't many things that are just like you have to watch it. This show, in my opinion, I have recommended to everyone I know. Like my mom, I was like, "Mom, you got to go watch this." Right? It's like,
and I don't know when this one will release, when this actual episode will release, but where we're at now, the second season releases on February 27th.
Yeah,
and we're about a week
out
prior to that.
Give or take,
and by the time this comes out, it'll probably have already been out for a couple weeks and all that good stuff.
We may go ahead and actually just release this one early. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get it in under the wire.
But definitely check out Altered Carbon. It's a cool show. But like I said, once again, you got to be attentive. It's not if you miss out on half an episode, you're gonna be like, whoa, what happened here?
Please put the phone down. We need to do it more often to begin with, right? It's like, and I'm as guilty as everybody. I'm a hypocrite when I tell you to do this, but also just absolutely put your phone down while watching the show. It deserves your attention.
Yeah, it's really good. It reminds me a lot. It definitely has that Blade Runner feel to it.
It's very Blade Runner.
And if nothing else, for the architecture and the way the city's laid out, it's very grimy.
Yep.
Super tall, like, and there's just these huge
beyond what you can see buildings, that sort of thing. Yeah.
The little flying cars. You got it's almost like the retrofuturism is what they call it, where it's like there's still remnants of
of the past,
of older times, but it's like just a slightly more modernized thing.
Yep. It's like it's like basically if you put a lot of super dense fog in New York, and then made flying cars.
Yeah, pretty much.
And everything was dark all the time.
Exactly, and it rained a lot.
Yeah, that's basically what
there's always the thing. I think this is like a long time ago. I talked about this on social media or something. There's always like in old movies, especially like 80s movies, there's always that one street where it's always rainy, and there's a bunch of hookers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And you're just like, where is that street?
I'd like to know.
For science.
We would like to go take a poll.
Well, somebody's taking a poll.
You know what I'm saying?
But no, it kind of has that like grimy, like it's not that it's raining. It's like it just rained.
Yes.
But all the time.
Yes.
But it's never raining, but it just rained somehow.
Yes. Yeah, it's wet.
Yeah. It just randomly. You're like, why is it? It didn't rain today, and they're like, it's just how it is.
Yep.
The sun never comes out here.
It's always very foggy.
Yeah. So, I say go check the show out. It's really cool. And also, this is something I realized, man, and I got to get better at this. Is especially trying to put all this stuff together. Recently, we just launched the podcast itself, and we're trying to make these things happen. We're booking guests, and
oh man, it's been a lot lately.
But it's really a testament to like how little time sometimes I have to sit. Like used to, I would just sit and watch Netflix all the time. But I was trying to do that thing where, I'm not on social media as much, and I'm doing other things, and the podcast has been a great outlet. But then I realized when we do these reviews, it's like, well, I have to. It's almost like not a job, but it's like
it's homework.
I want to provide content, so I got to go watch the thing. But sometimes it's hard to carve out that because especially with these shows that are hour It's like I got to carve out that time and sit down and do it, and I've got other stuff I'm working during the week. And
yeah, we both have full-time jobs and, are attempting to do this because I think for both of us, this was kind of like a pipe dream, right?
I think so, yeah.
Just a pipe dream that we've always thought would be cool. And then once we sat down and you made the giant first leap of buying all the equipment and learning how to do all of the stuff and then invited me in, and I was obviously super excited to be here because this is one of my pipe dreams of all time. And if it never makes us $1, I'm excited to be able to be here and do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. This is just us having a conversation, having fun. I would imagine that the other main guest podcasts are probably going to be downloaded and listened to quite a bit more than these because these are a little more niche, right? It's us speaking on one specific show or movie or whatever it is. And oftentimes we're going to veer into left field on these things and just have conversations, not about the thing we're trying to review probably.
Yeah, because if you guys haven't noticed by now, we're giant nerds.
Yeah.
And we're going to nerd out about stuff that we get excited about.
Yeah, like I'm going to make him do an Avatar The Last Airbender review just so I can do it.
I'll watch it. I'm not like a hater or anything. I'm sure it's good. I don't know. It's one of those, it's like I feel like I missed the boat on. So it's
no, it's never too late to start.
It's like when people go talk about Dragon Ball Z really hard, and I'm like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah, see, I grew out of Dragon Ball Z for whatever reason, but Avatar is a different thing.
I feel like real, hardcore anime fans
don't grow out of that.
Well, I don't know. I think there's two different schools of it. I think there's those super cool people that are like, you like Dragon Ball Z? That's like amateur hour or whatever.
Oh, certainly. There is definitely those people that because that's one of the only real halfway animes that I ever watched was Dragon Ball Z because the other ones were too hardcore for me. I didn't get them. Like the over-the-topness of anime.
Right.
Just never really... And Dragon Ball Z was just the most readily available in my teenage years.
Sure.
Right? And so that's the one I watched. And
it's
loved it.
It's probably easier to digest than a lot of that stuff.
I loved it, but let's be honest. It was legitimately... Next time on Dragon Ball Z, and then last time on Dragon Ball Z. That was literally half the episode, was them describing what happened last time and then what's going to happen next time. And they did about 3 minutes of action through the entire show, and then, it literally took him 18 years to fight Frieza. You were like, what is going on here? What is this? And it's very frustrating. And so that's kind of what threw me off of the whole Dragon Ball Z thing. I watched until a certain point, and then I was done. I just was over it.
For me, up until recently, I didn't really care for the anime aesthetic. I've grown to like it a little bit more. There's some things, and it's probably more like the hybrid stuff, like the Dragon Prince show. I love that show. Super cool show.
Which was created by one of the guys that was the Avatar The Last Airbender creator.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Aaron Ehasz.
Nice. And that Castlevania series that was on Netflix.
I did not watch it, but I heard good things.
I really liked it. And what's cool is, and I think we probably already talked about this on something, maybe, but I always forget. So I'll repeat myself a lot. Just heads up. So
it is what it is.
Yeah. The new He-Man that Kevin Smith is doing, it's going to be the same animation team that did Castlevania. So it's going to be essentially this hybrid anime style. Yeah. But what's crazy is it's picking up literally right after the old show. It's like a continuation of the old show, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm good with
That's exciting. Let's get back to the Dragon Prince real quick, so we can tag that onto this one too.
Sure.
I love that show. It's very simple, very basic. It's not one of those shows that's super in depth. It is real surfacey, but it's also really good messages in the show, right?
Yeah.
Like, be decent to each other, that sort of thing.
I was going to say, and I think it's definitely kid-friendly.
Oh, super kid-friendly.
It's probably geared towards kids.
It's geared towards kids, and we just happen to enjoy it, right? So if you're a parent that hates their kids' shows, make your kid watch this.
Yeah, it's good. It is a good one.
You know what I mean? But because this will be more enjoyable than Blue's Clues or, the other annoying shows that you have to watch.
There was another one that I actually kind of liked, and I only watched the first season of it, and I can't think of what it's called. It was like a DreamWorks style cartoon show, Trolls.
Oh, Troll Hunters.
Troll Hunters.
Yeah, I've heard great things.
Dude, I watched the first season of it or whatever, and then
my kids both watched it. I never got into it, but I've heard it was awesome. The tragedy is the main character was Anton, the kid that died. The actor from Star Trek that died.
I didn't know that.
He was the main voice for the main character.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and. I heard that they were going to try and continue that, but it was super bummer when he died. I don't get sad when actors and actresses die very often. It's just kind of a weird thing about me. A lot of people find like meaning in it, like how they personally affected them, that sort of thing. That kid legitimately, like, I was bummed out when I heard because I thought he was on the come up. He was always in interesting things. He wasn't shoehorned into one type of character, that sort of thing.
Definitely a bummer.
Oh yeah, it was a bummer.
I didn't realize that was him that did the voice. That's cool.
Yep.
But yeah, there are some cool cartoon shows out there, and it's weird because at work and stuff, it's like you can't bring that. Like I don't mind embarrassed that I watch those shows, but it's like
what are the chances somebody else is going to relate to that? Yeah,
because it's like why would you? I'm like because it's a good show. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Dragon Prince was dope.
I loved it. I think it's a great show, and to be honest with you, it is basically a very surfacey version of Avatar.
Okay.
Avatar is a much more. I think Avatar's has so many layers, and not the blue people Avatar. If you're
listening. Is Avatar the Last Airbender? Is it accessible on any of the streaming?
It should be on Netflix soon. It may already be on Netflix because they're making a live action remake, which I'm terrified of.
Yeah, you got to be worried about that.
I went and spent the big bucks on Amazon Prime just bought them, and they were running a deal last month or month before. Somebody was making fun of me because I paid like $30 a piece for each season. There's 3 seasons, so I paid like $90 for it.
Heck yeah.
Because it's my jam. And
you know you're going to rewatch it.
I'll always have it, right? And so somebody asked me why I didn't buy the Blu-ray or DVD because you can literally buy those for like $20 for the whole 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, well, because I don't have a Blu-ray or DVD player because they're literally a dying thing.
Yeah.
And
I think you can get those for like $12 now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they're like a little cheap, whatever.
But I know that the digital is going to be around for a very long time, right? There's no reason to eclipse the digital at this point. I think that's literally the last
The only
bastion.
thing that worries me, and this is going to be crazy to say because I know Amazon's in no danger of going away. But what happens if that does happen?
I'm hosed.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I worry about because that's bigger with games, especially. And I play video games and whatnot, and they're not necessarily like. I think like Nintendo or Sony or whoever you buy games from, like you'll have the game, but a lot of games have a lot of online elements.
Yeah.
So if those servers
Steam style games.
So if those servers shut down and you have the digital copy, it's like, well, you don't have the way of playing that game. And I guess that's just, it just is what it is with the times changing.
Yeah, sometimes you just lose.
And the odds, I guess, of you really just playing a game for, 15, 20 years is probably next to none.
I found a hard copy of Final Fantasy Tactics the other day.
Oh, nice.
Like
for
super
PlayStation.
Old. Yeah, original PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you buy it?
I own it.
Oh, okay.
I found it in a random game case.
Oh, you were just going through your stuff. I thought you meant you
I don't even
saw it at
own
a
a PlayStation.
Nice.
And I found an original PlayStation game at my house. My son brought it to me. He was like, "Hey, do you want this, you old fuck?" And I was like, yeah, I do." Well, we're not throwing. I throw away everything. I'm like, don't throw that away.
Yeah, I mean, if for nothing else, you could probably get some money for it.
Yeah, probably.
So that's a hot ticket item for the retro gamers.
Most people don't know about it, but man, that's literally might be my favorite game of all time.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Favorite game of all time. We've really gone off the rails here, but I don't mind.
I don't either. That's what we need to do is have some review games, some open-ended conversations about our favorite this and our favorite that.
Favorite game of all time? Probably for me, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Mm-hmm. Super Nintendo style?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to talk about this, I think, in a future episode with a couple buddies of mine that are coming to do the show. I'm not gonna drop any names yet, but we were in a group message talking about we should talk about some video games, and somebody was talking about they've been playing some retro games, and man, I'm a nerd and I love retro games, but I'm probably gonna lose some street cred here with the retro nerds. Some of those games are just hard to play now.
Oh my! Super Ghouls and Ghosts can go fuck itself. Have you ever played that game?
It's terrible.
It's stupid.
Yeah, and the thing is, I say that I just wasn't good enough.
No, I was terrible.
Like I had a cousin who was amazing at those, and like he could just kick its ass, and I was always so jealous because I was like, I can do it too. Then I can't.
Could not.
And I don't know if it's a patience.
That's why
thing
I went to RPGs and strategy games because I didn't have the hand-eye coordination to keep up. I couldn't do fighting games. What the fuck?
Oh no,
I was terrible at them.
One time, a pretty good little anecdote about a fighting game. I don't know which one it was, Soul Calibur something.
Yeah.
And Soul Calibur will have like random ass characters in it.
Yep.
And it was one that had it was Darth Vader. You could play as Darth Vader. Well, I came home at the time. I was living with John Scott at the time, and I come home, and I don't remember who was there, but him and John and one of our other buddies was playing Soul Calibur, and I just don't play those games because I'm terrible at them. And they're like, "Oh, you want to get in on this?" And I was like, no, I'm really bad." And they're like, "Hey, just play it around." I'm like, "Oh, what? Okay, I'll play." And I was like, "Oh, hell yeah, Darth Vader." And I literally button mashed and did like this Ultimo like 2-shot move and killed the shit out of whoever it was I played. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I never played him before." And I was like, "I swear, I have no idea what I just did." He did this like force choke slam, like pulled out a lightsaber. I was
Who's
like,
your daddy kind of deal.
And I was like, And then I was like, I can never repeat that.
Yeah, no.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, you suck at this." And then of course they handed me my ass for the next like 5 matches. And I was like, "See, that was a total fluke."
It's like when my son asked me to play Smash Brothers now. It's so he can kick my ass. He's like, "I just need real world practice, Dad. The lag on the internet's too much." When a kid tells you that the latency lag on the internet is too much,
input latency, homie.
And you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, then he's probably going to destroy you. Because if he's worried about the lag on the internet,
right,
he's probably pretty good at it, right?" And so you're like, "Okay, I'll play you." And then he destroys me. I'm like, "All right, well, that wasn't any fun. Why would you make me do that?"
Those Smash Brothers nerds are hardcore too. Man.
Yeah, they're it's pretty aggressive.
You remember they used to come to the game shop?
Oh
and
yeah.
Play?
Yeah. They go to the e-gamers now and smash it up. My son goes from time to time.
What was great was those kids would bring because they had like they played
old CRT TVs and
because they had Game
Smash
Cubes.
Brothers Melee. Yeah, they had the Game Cubes, and that's the only way you can access that particular thing. And they're so hardcore they don't even use like wireless controllers because they weren't really much of a thing back then. I had one for my GameCube, but that's because I'm fat and lazy and don't want to sit that close to the TV.
Back before they made long cords for.
Yeah, let's go on another tangent. Fuck these people for not making all of the standard, the retro SNES, the retro PlayStation. The fact that they don't come standard with wireless controllers is insane to me.
It's probably it's probably a cost thing.
I don't give a damn.
Keep the cost down.
Make it more expensive. It should be the standard because I had to buy the stupid SNES and 2 wireless controllers for it.
You say that, but I bought the same wireless controllers you did for mine, and they're terrible. Like if you're more than 5 feet away from the damn thing,
you bought the wrong one.
Well, whatever.
I bought one and it was awful, and then I bought another and it's great.
Yeah. This one sucks.
Yeah.
Like maybe from here in this room it would be okay, but in my other living room,
and what he's describing is about 7 feet away. Yeah.
But at my old living room where it was like a
way
football
too
field,
far
like
away,
it just went, and I'm like, dude, my remote control to my TV works.
Yeah.
Like, why can't this technology be with that?
Well, yeah, it's because that
is a piece of shit. I guess.
It turns out that they should have just made awesome wireless controllers because we are in 2020. We're not in 1994 anymore. All right, we're 26 years away from that.
Kind of wish we were.
Nah, I was fucking 9, bro. I like my autonomy now.
I was 12, so I was kicking ass pretty good at that point.
I was pretty much a loser most of my young life. So
I was already drinking beer,
smashing.
That's not true at all, by the way.
No.
12 years old. I played with toys way too long, probably.
Oh yeah, me too, dude. Exo Squad toys, through and through.
Squad was the shit.
Through and through.
I love that show.
Yeah, dope ass show. Can't find it anywhere.
Was
now.
it just one season? Probably.
I think it was 1 or 2. I think
those toys were amazing.
Literally, my buddy Chris Wynn, because I was obsessed with it when I was younger, I was like, "Damn, I can't find it nowhere." And he got it on DVD on Amazon and had it sent to me or whatever. And I went to put the DVD in, and it was like the shittiest recording of somebody on VHS.
And they packaged it like it was
It was a DVD, but it was like when they transferred it from VHS to DVD, it had like the weird squiggly line marks through it from time to time, and the sound was way off, and it was terrible. I appreciate the sentiment, but man, it was fucking awful.
Yeah.
And it really hurt my feelings because I was excited to watch it. Yeah, man, that's the kind of deep cut you'll get here.
All right, guys, if you can find Exo Squad, send it to us.
Yeah.
P.O. Box 37, Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should just give out your address and then.
Yeah. So I know. So Altered Carbon.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about. My bad.
Yeah, I think you want to probably wrap this one
Yeah,
up.
man. It legitimately top 10 show on Netflix.
Oh yeah, definitely go check it out. Especially if you like the genre. If you don't, just give it a 1-2 episodes. Try it out.
I would definitely recommend 1 or 2. I mean, if you don't like violence or nudity, definitely stay away because it definitely has violence and nudity.
But if you don't like violence and nudity, you're probably not listening to our
That's
podcast.
probably accurate. Yeah,
So.
my bad.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you don't like violence and nudity, get it together.
Yeah.
It's
What are you
2020.
doing, man?
Get out there, get violent, get nude.
Okay. All right.
Make it happen.
We're violent and nude right now.
Right in this moment.
Yeah.
So, go watch Altered Carbon. We're going to do a full, like, kind of in detail review in a couple weeks after the show comes out and we've had time to watch.
I'm gonna try and convince you to just smash that one on out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. It's like I said, it just depends on scheduling and stuff. But yeah, we'll bring you guys that, and we do appreciate you guys listening. And if you got any suggestions for things you would like us to review or things you think are cool and you want us to check out, even just send it to us.
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, the McRADcast, and you can also send an email to stayradpodcast@gmail.com.
Or DM either one of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Let us know, and we'll check stuff out. And if we think it's cool enough, we'll talk about it. And yeah, we just like doing this stuff. So thanks for listening. We'll have new episodes coming to you all the time. We're trying to pump stuff out here. And don't forget to stay rad.